Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome back to Space Invaders TV. I'm your host, Rashawn, aka Looker. Yes, this is another edition of Space Invaders TV. Today is Thursday, January the 20th, 2022. And yes, first, peace and blessings to all you guys out there. I just thank y'all for for the subscribers, and even if you just stumbled across the channel, and it caught your attention that way. Maybe I had maybe you caught one of my videos another time, and it caught your attention, and it piqued your interest, and it garnered you to hang around. I say thank you to you as well. But we're gonna get right into it. You see, we talking about the innovative project within the public school systems, okay? And mainly for North Carolina. I had never heard of this before. Maybe some of you guys may have heard of it. I'm pretty sure you've heard of it if you're in the school system within North Carolina. You probably have heard of it, but I have never heard of it until me hearing Sharon Contreras was quitting, and that's where she was going, to this nonprofit organization. And before I go on, I want to say this. I want you to look up the Broad Academy, okay? And I want you to look up the Broad Academy Center of Yale School of Management, okay? Broad Academy Center of Yale School of Management, okay? And take notice how their ideas and how their whole format set up on their website is the same as what the innovative project is, okay? And now we're gonna go back, and I'll talk back about the Broad Academy. If you've been with me since 2020, when I started talking about and I started talking about the school system, everything, then what the Broad Academy is, what it's about. But we're gonna come back to it, and I'm gonna break that down for you, and I'm gonna show you the parallel between the two. And I just want you to take a step back when you do check out the Broad Center, okay? It used to be called the Broad Academy, but it's called the Broad Center. Broad Center, Yale School of Management, all right? And I want you to look at that, and then look at the innovative project, and then I want you to take a step back and then look at what's going on in the school system. Look at what's going on in the school systems around the country, okay? And then if you haven't, I want you to check this book out right here, Why Metal Died, okay? I have to say, I always have to give a shout out to a good friend, Stephanie Mitchell. This was a great book that she gave me, and it gave a lot of understanding about the school system. You know what I'm saying? It gave a more deep dive look into the school system, because it talks about the young girl Meadow, that she was one of the 17, well actually it was 34, one of 34 people that were injured and killed down at Parkland High School in Florida. And I want to say that was it was February 2017. I don't remember right offhand, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I think it was February 2017. If I'm wrong, if you read the book, you know about it, correct me. I don't have those notes completely in front of me. I don't remember those dates. I be having so many dates in my brain. But I believe it was February. I know it was in February. but I think it was February 2017. And so and the things that surrounded the, the security in the schools, and then the way that, when we talk about mental health, and just the way that how it's approached within school systems, how it's dealt with, and then and how pretty much it was kind of like overlooked and pushed to the side. And we seen the same thing happen again in Oxford, Michigan, and then the time again. I mean, we just constantly keep seeing these things happening around the country. The first that I can remember was Columbine, one of the first ones that I can remember. It could have been one before that. It was Columbine, But again, security in the schools and just the way that is approached, the whole dealing with mental health with students, and just the discipline, how the students who are breaking rules within the schools are being disciplined, how it's being handled, and just the overall, the quality of education. When we step back and when you look at the Broadcenter, you go to the website, the Broadcenter, Yale School of Management. I'll talk about the Broadcenter later. If you haven't been up with me since 2020, when I spoke about it, I'm going to swing back around and we're going to talk about that later in this segment. And I want you to look at the Broadcenter and the Innovative Project. I want you to look at the parallels, how they are the same, and their whole idea is the same, and how you haven't even really heard of these folks like that before, and you don't hear of them when we have situations like shootings inside the schools. When we're talking about education, we don't hear about these organizations, but but what raises an eyebrow with me, and what should raise an eyebrow with you, is when a company or a group just forces itself on you and their idea on you without really consulting with you. So I say, like, you got these groups that insert themselves and say they're doing things in the name of the people. They're standing up and stepping in for the people. But they just come and insert their ideas and thoughts on you and don't even consult with you. So it's like they insert themselves into the education system and saying that they're doing things for this reason, and then they want to insert themselves in a quote unquote low income neighborhoods. And it's like, okay, but you should want to sit down and talk with the community before you do that, or you should present yourself at a school board meeting and let parents be able to come and hear what you all about. We should have some place where we coming down, you sitting down and talking to the people that you're claiming to want to service and help. So it when that doesn't happen, it's sneaky. It's sneaky tactics. And it's when the ulterior motive arise and presents itself, because you're inserting yourself and you're trying to say something like you're doing something in the name of the people, and you're trying to use and tag on to a said group, but you're not even consulting with that group that you're claiming that is low income. You come into a quote unquote low income neighborhood, but you don't consult with the people there. Your way of consulting is saying, hey, we have this school here, but not everybody in that low income neighborhood is able to go to that school that you're presenting there. They still have to fill out an application, but you're saying you picked this one quote unquote low income neighborhood, but not all the students in that neighborhood are able to go to your school. There are students coming from all over the other place, and maybe even other cities and towns, to that school. They're reaping the benefits, but not those folks in the community. Those folks in the community may not even know what type of school you have. They don't even know about that type of school. You may not even educated them on what your school is all about. They just know it's a school there. Oh, it may look nice. Oh, that looks nice. Oh yeah, the landscape is gorgeous. Oh wow, that's the name of the school? Oh great. Oh. They may not even know what you specialize. Like, what is your forte? What are you specializing in? You know, they just know it's a new building there. You haven't even consulted with the people, so it's like these people come in, like I said, with these sneaky tactics and try to use the people and coming in on the backs of the people and saying that, yeah, we doing this in the name of the low income, lower class, okay? But you're not even talking to the lower class people. You're just gaining funds off the back of them. Let's talk about it. So, before I start off with going, breaking some things down, and I don't want to lose my pace, folks. So, let me start, right? I understand that public schools, the public schools, they get a bad rap. And I know the sentiment, the parents, how they feel, the fighting, the people think about drugs, you think about this. And I understand we all have a vision and a goal for our kids before our kids even know what their actual vision and goal should be. We have a vision for them, and when it comes to education, and we want them to be in a great, warm, friendly, clean atmosphere, welcoming atmosphere where they enjoy, and they come home every day and they just talk about how great their day was. We want them to enjoy it. We want them to enjoy the education. We want them to have fun learning. We want all of those things. I understand all of it. I'm a parent as well, and my child is in the public school system. I came up in a public school system. Okay. I understand all of those sentiments, but but I just want you all to think about something. When it comes to public schools, if we put more pressure on the states about what we want more of in our public school systems, like the ideas that a KIPP school offer, a magnet school, charter school, etc., right? Those same ideas and those same type academics that those said schools present, we can have those things presented, those same academics and subject matters in our public schools. Why can't it start at the traditional public school? Why can't we have those things in the traditional public school when you have more students in public schools? We should have all of these different programs and views of academics, how they should be approached, and all the ideas that those said schools I just named, types of schools I just named, those things can be all in public schools too. They should be offered there. Okay? Because if those charter schools and magnet schools and are free and they're offering that, then why can't the traditional public school offer it, right? I don't understand. So, and let's understand something here. Some of those schools that I named, like magnet schools or whatever, and charter schools, they get 3 to 5 years to get their thing together. So if they're not up to the state standards within those 3 to 5 years, guess what? If your child's in that school, guess what? They may be coming to school one day and find out that next week they won't be going there if that school didn't keep up. So those schools still when they open up, they're still on a tight, they under the state's watchful eye. So it's like, instead of we focus so much on that, and focus on what the public schools don't offer, why don't we focus more on the public schools and put more pressure on our local governments about what we want in our public schools and what is needed in meeting these children? As I always say, we have to meet them where they stand, because from here on out, education, we cannot teach education the way you and I learned in our early years. We can't teach these kids how they were learning in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. We can't teach them that. You know, if a child was born in the 90s, from the 90s on, is a new approach, because technology took flight, took off. You know, so these kids are born into this technology today, and we are amazed every time when we watch a child that they can be 2 months old, and we used to be attached to little play phones as kids. These kids are attached to real phones, and they know how to scroll on them. By the time they 1 year old, they probably logging on the social media sites, and you're wondering like, what in the, you know, like, these kids are knowing this stuff. It's so advanced. So if we put more focus into the public schools, those same, like I said, those same ideas of a KIPP school, of a magnet school, of a charter school, those same ideas can be present in the public school. We're vacating the public school system, and we're leaving those kids that still attend, the large groups that attend those schools, we leaving them behind, and we leaving them hanging. And then they're, you know, so then you have, we're leaving them behind because the average Joe Schmo, who has no real education background, but just feels that, oh, I think I want to start a school, and they can get some sponsors behind them, and then they go to the state and they say, hey, I want to open up this charter, and I want to do this. And then you start to get things where they're spewing, when some of these folks start spewing their own ideas on to you. And then what you may not notice is you're throwing your child into the lion's mouth. You're feeding that lion, okay? You're feeding that lion, and then these schools have their own ideas, and then you find out that this idea may not be yours if you do a deeper dive into it, and do a deeper dive into who are the founders of these schools and what is their backgrounds. You know, doing a deeper dive into those type of folks, and then you can understand a lot more. Like, what is their drive? What drives them to want to open this charter or magnet school? What this KIPP school? What drove them to want to do that? You know, you never really hear of these folks like that. You know, and so I just want us to think about that, because this is why. And then we get these folks like of Innovative Project, right? The Innovative Project, where Sharon Contreras is going, right? And I never heard of them before until they said that's where she was going. And I said, okay, now what piqued my interest was, okay, now, why would a place like, why would a group want to hire her if they did, did they check her track record here? What are they seeing that, what are we missing? You know what I'm saying? What are they seeing, and that these parents and teachers and everybody ain't seeing? Because everybody, you know, you got a lot of unhappy folks, you know, and you know, so I had to deep dive in and look into these people and find out, like, what are they about? Because okay, so now I'm getting like nobody's doing their research and doing their background checks, so we're just like. So you know, okay, Guilford County hired her from Syracuse. She was filing up there. The same thing she did there, she came here with it. She leaving Guilford County the same way she did Syracuse. I told everyone about that. We're not gonna go back down that rabbit hole and talk about that. So I was like, Now, why would these people, a nonprofit, you're going to put her as a CEO? Let me look into you people and see what you really about, because you can't be about too much if you're doing that. So when I dived into the Innovative Project, what I found was these folks are a group of principals from around the state. So I'm saying, okay, just to give you who are we? If you haven't been to their website, go to their website. The Innovative Project, the Innovation Project. I'm sorry, the Innovation Project. Go to their website. Okay, is they for short is tipnc.org. Okay, you can type that in, tipnc.org. All right, that's short for the Innovation Project. And so when you go to their page and you read, you see who the board of directors are and all of this, and they all from the school system here. They superintendents. It's just a big group of superintendents, right? So you get to see all of those folks on there, and then it reads our mission, right? I want to read something here. It says how we do it. The Innovation Project seeks superintendents who want to be a part of a close, dynamic community of leaders to rethink, reimagine, and redesign public education. Let's go back here to rethink, reimagine, and redesign public education. With equity and access as fundamental goals, we seek to engage in work that enables educators, leaders, and students alike to develop an entrepreneurial mindset to prepare them for challenges of learning and leading in the 21st century. We build networks across our school districts and communities that accelerate and sustain innovation. Our work centers on connecting our superintendents, members, and their leadership. Commitment to the state. While we are committed to maintain a close community for exploring innovation, we are also committed to scaling change across North Carolina by sharing resources created by the Innovation Project. Staff also present at conferences, and our members are encouraged to share resources at their regional and state meetings. Our history. The Innovation Project formally began on July 1st, 2015. Gary Hancock and Ann McCall founded the program as a service of the Raleigh law firm, Everett Gaskin Hancock, LLP. The project began with 10 superintendents who came together to seek innovative approaches to strengthening public education by 2017. TIP's growth demanded a more robust organizational structure. We had established multiple strong partnerships and had earned the support of the Z. Smith Reynolds Foundation and the Belk Foundation. Initiatives, including our Restart Schools collaborative, had grown exponentially. In light of this early success, the Innovative Project ended its incubation in the law firm and became an independent North Carolina nonprofit 501c3 organization. As part of this shift, the Innovation Project created its first board of superintendents, which assumed responsibility for organizations. Dr. Jim Merrill, superintendent of Wake County Schools, served as the chair until his retirement. Dr. William Harrison, superintendent of Alamance Burlington Schools and former state board chair, served as the next chair. Dr. Tony Jackson of Vance County Schools served as chair for 2018-2021. Dr. Kim Morrison of Mount Airy Schools and the current chair. Joe Ablader served as acting CEO and Ann McCall as president. All right, let's figure this out, folks. So, out of all of that I just read, and it's telling you, telling you about the Innovation Project, right? So I just read all of that, right? But what are they supposed to be? Who are they supposed to be for? Did we hear anything or who they're really for? Besides naming off all the principles and everything and about what their ideas are. But have they said anything about, and when you go through their page of who are we, that just shows who are everybody a part of. The partners, they got partners, the incubation, They don't talk about nothing about the children. Everything is about what their idea is. Their big freaking idea. What their idea is. They don't have no plan. They talked about the restarts. Okay, what's your plan? What's your plan for the restart innovation, the innovation project? What is your plan for the restarts? Why do we have the restarts? What is your plan for the school bus drivers and what is your plan for the teachers in the state? What is your plan for meeting these children where they stand at with education, bringing something forward? See, this is what I'm saying. And if you guys are principals at schools, that lets me know a whole lot about you anyway, because if you brought Sharon Contreras over there and she ain't done nothing here that no parent can actually see, what has she been innovative with bringing? It's been the teachers that have been front line. She is not responsible for the graduation of them students. It's the drive of those students and their parents and those teachers motivating and pushing those kids and seeing something better in them, helping them get to the finish line, okay? It's not that superintendent. She hasn't bought anything. We just heard about a lot of money she's been asking for the past 2 years and not seeing anything get done. So how is she innovative? If she's so innovative, starting with some of the schools, getting something started with some of the schools, getting the HVAC systems, upgrading some of the schools, starting with some of them, that would have been easy. That would have been easy. She didn't even do that. She's so innovative. Why did we have 3 schools that were sitting dormant for so long, and then one recently just caught fire some months ago, or late last year, back in late last 2021. One of the 3 schools caught fire. Peeler Elementary. All of a sudden, then the only thing she was really innovative on was hurrying up and bulldozing that school down. So you tell me, what is you guys actually planning? See, the innovation project, these people come in and they tag on to low income. They focus on low income areas. See, and they play this game. I guess they think because you had somebody like Sharon Contreras for Guilford County, and I don't know about those other superintendents or whatever, but if you got a superintendent like Sharon Contreras, if you pick Sharon Contreras, then that says a lot about your organization. That's all I'm saying. If she's going to be the face, the CEO of your organization, and the people that you already had there before her, you ain't put them as a CEO, then god dang it, they must be worse than she was here. That's all I'm saying, and I'm just keeping it all the way real with you. Because I want to know what the qualifications, what she brought forth to y'all. Because if you know what we know, and I've been talking for the past couple years now, and I've been running it down about all the things that I've seen, and it's been in the paper, it's come out of my mouth, I've presented the proof, people were actually able to fact check me. So I'm trying to figure out where you people. Guilford County Schools extended her contract. She didn't even fulfill that. So she didn't fulfill her contract, finish it out at Syracuse because she ran because she knew what was going to happen. So she come here, did the same thing, ain't doing her job. So you're going to hire somebody that's a runner. Like, she doesn't finish the job. So this is the type of person you want to be a CEO of your company. That says a lot about you, Innovative Project, because I don't know a company that's going to hire somebody that they don't see proven track record. There's no proven track record. So, again, these places like the Broadcenter, Yale School of Management, Broad Academy, a.k.a. the Broad Academy, those type of, they have their own agendas. And they play this game as if they want to. If you want to fix, once you start with your schools, instead of having a whole group, why do you need a group? Start with your schools, because you guys are not just going to change something. If you're really trying to change something, if y'all, a group of superintendents of schools trying to change something, then why don't you all get together and get the other superintendents around the state, the other 100 counties, and go to Raleigh because you're based in Raleigh. That's what your address says. Go and push for legislation to get better academics, better meeting these students where they stand at, presenting something better to these children, better nutrition, better everything. Why do you need to? What is this group for? The Innovation Project. What is this group for? If you're not, and none of that I just read, you never said that you were going. You're going to take your ideas and go to Raleigh with it. You guys are sitting there BSing. That's what you're doing. You're BSing, and all of you guys are superintendents. Then how Sharon Katera is quitting her superintendent job to come on with you guys, but everybody else there is superintendents of schools, and they're just a part of the Innovation Project. But she's quitting her job. Why is she quitting her job? Because she can't do her job. But then she's going to come with you guys and then come back to the same schools, same school system, and present an idea that she couldn't even get across here. She couldn't even keep teachers here to focus. She didn't have no plan. It's just disruption. School had the whole school board here confused, but this is a person you put as a CEO. That let me know about your company. That's why I was the organization. That's why I was I gotta look into this organization. Like, who would hire this type of person? She doesn't have a stable track record. I mean, I read it. I done looked that up. So, this is what I mean about those type of people. And I want to get into the Broad Center, Yale School of Management. I want to talk about that real briefly. I want y'all to look that up, the Broad Center. Okay, you can type in som.yale.edu. It'll take you right to it. But you can also type in the Broad Academy if it'll bring it up for you. The Broad Academy, right? It was founded by Eli Broad. Okay, he was just in lame terms. Eli Broad just was a wealthy man. Okay. And he was a philanthropist, okay? Businessman, philanthropist. And his net worth was $6.7 billion by the time of his death. He just passed in April of 2021, okay? He was born in 1933, okay? He was from Michigan. He was born in New York, and his family moved to Detroit, Michigan, okay? He just had money, and for whatever reason he started the Broad Academy, and the Broad Academy was nothing more than they trained up ones to become superintendent of schools and principals of schools and things of that nature with whatever idea. I still to this day don't even understand what their whole direction is. Mind you, he went to Michigan University, right? And he was trying to bring the Broad Academy, his whole idea for it. He was trying to bring it to the Michigan. They wasn't with it. So then what happened, he found his way, went around, and he found out just a few years ago that they got it into Yale. Okay, Yale accepted that program. But mind you, he paid for his the Broad Academy to be a part of Yale. And mind you, when you look up the Broad Center, right? Broad Academy, aka Broad Center. When you look up the Broad Center, it says Yale School of Management, because that's how they look at, and that's how they looked at education. He, for some reason, whatever his drive was with education, and the Broad Academy whole idea was to try to, it was all about helping out the less fortunate, low income neighborhoods, the schools that were in those neighborhoods. And my thing is, we have these organizations that latch onto that, and they get money on the backs of, they start these organizations up in the name of low income neighborhoods, and no one ever knows about these programs. Maybe they know about it in Detroit or Michigan or something, but I never heard of this program nowhere. But Sharon Contreras is an alumni of this program because she went there. She studied under that Broad Academy. So when you see and when you see these ideas and the way that they treat, they look at superintendents as managers. They don't address. They don't view education from the same scope as true educators do. Okay, they look at it as like just to shorten it up in lame terms, they look at it as like a manager to employee type of thing. That's how they look at it. They don't look at like this is superintendent of schools. This is the teacher. They look at it totally different. And if you don't align with what their idea is, what happens is you start seeing principles and stuff getting moved around. If they don't align with the superintendent, whatever the idea is, and whatever their special interest, whoever they're trying to appease, if those principles don't align with that superintendent's idea, and they've come up through that Broad Academy, then guess what? That superintendent is out. I'm gonna tell you another principal that was a part of that that came up under the Broad Academy. He was an alumni too. Of course, like I said, Sharon Contreras. Then you had Thompson. He was the principal of Parkland High School. Okay, aka Marjorie Stoneman High School down in Florida, where Nicholas Cruz, the young man, walked into the school in February. It was February 2018, folks. I'm sorry. I said that 17 kids in Parkland High School was, and Meadow was one of them that was killed. It was 2017. It was 2018. So in 2018, Nicholas Cruz, he went to Parkland High School. He walked in, and he just started ringing off shots in there. And Ty Thompson was the principal at that time. And the security, they didn't have adequate security, and then he just was saying things that were all off. They were actually trying to charge him, bring him up on certain charges as well, but it didn't quite stick. But the actual young man, Nicholas Cruz, who went into the school that day on February 14, 2018, and shot, killed, and injured a total of 34 people that day. He's actually next month, February 2022, he's gonna get sentenced. He's gonna be sentenced for that shooting. But I said all of that to say, like, that principal, Ty Thompson, him and Sharon Contreras and other other superintendents and principals around the country, a lot of them come up through that system. I don't even know how, I don't know how they find out about this type of program. I don't know how, if they went to college and you went to college for your degree in education and everything. I don't know how this, something like the Broad Academy, how is that even of interest to you? How is that even benefit you? I don't know. I've looked and I don't see. Maybe it's something inside of that group that only those folks know. But what I can tell you is, when you look up the Broadcenter, okay, Yale School of Management, okay, when you look that up, and then I want you to compare that to the Innovative Project, okay, the Innovation Project. I want you to compare those two. I want you to look at them and read their websites and tell me what you get out of that. Tell me with the understanding that you get out of that, and how is it really beneficial to our children. Groups like that, those groups aren't beneficial to our children. They're just like I said, when you get like charter and magnet schools and all of those things like that, they all tag on to the same thing. They all tag on, and they use the way for them to get funding. They use lower income, lower class to get what they want. Because if they, it's like, I guess it's like, if we use that, if we tell the state we want to help the less fortunate ones within the school system, we can get funded. And it's like, if you just use that line in there, you'll get what you need. You know, they'll let you open the school. But like, when we sit back and think, is it really needed? Can we just expound on what we have? Now, I want to run down 13 different type schools. Did you know that it's 13 different type schools? You have the traditional schools, what we're talking about, traditional public schools, okay? The traditional public school needs to abide by certain standards. Teachers must have the appropriate licensure to work at a public school, which is usually mandated by state in which they are located. Students attend a public school based on where they live and aren't required to pay a tuition. All right? Go on. Number 2, a charter school. Any company or organization or individual can apply for a charter to open a charter school. If the state grants their charter, the school will receive a certain amount of funding for a limited period of time, typically 3 to 5 years. If the school fails to meet performance expectations, their charter is not renewed and it closes. Okay? Chartering allows a school to run anonymously of the existing public school system, says the Public School Review. Many offer a unique learning environment, such as school whose science classes are conducted in the field, or a specialization in arts education. Charter schools often choose a specialization or mission statement that meets a need of their community. Teachers and administrators at a charter school have more authority to make decisions than the most traditional public schools, and the cost of that freedom is a constant pressure to perform. A new charter school could fail to impress the legislature in its first few years and lose funding. On the bright side, this means a charter school that has been around for a while has proven its worth and achievement several times over. Magnet School. A magnet school specializes in certain areas such as technology, science, and arts. Okay? They are free public schools operated by school districts or a group of districts. Magnet schools tend to be very intentional about maintaining the diverse student population and are likely to have wait lists of students trying to enroll. As a result, they promote higher level cognitive and social learning. Magnet education writes magnet schools makes the extra effort to create a sense of classroom and community, school community. Curriculum is also clear and transparent for families so they can more fully engage in the learning of their students. Public virtual. Okay, so we got the public virtual. So we know what that is, a virtual school. Types of private school, the traditional private school. I'm not going to get in that because that's a private school. And the boarding schools, we know what they are. They've been around, for years. Language immersion schools, Montessori school. Let's get into Montessori school. Montessori schools put a great emphasis on exploration. Aurora says children are encouraged to question and experience the joy of discovering the world around them through their classroom experience. The curriculum is very well rounded, Aurora says, explaining that it covers math, language, and science, as well as sensory-based subjects. The classroom communities in a Montessori school are designed to be 3-year communities, says Pines Montessori. All right. Each teacher will have the same group of children for 3 years. Solman emphasized that this structure gives teachers time to build relationships with students and their families that personalize and deepen the study material. We enroll families, not just children. When a family chooses Montessori for their child, they choose it for their family as well. Private education schools. These schools will be better equipped than the average school to meet specialized learning needs for their children. The teachers, administration, and additional staff like counselors, nurses, and academic advisors are highly informed, and tuned into the specific needs of their population. This can be a lifesaver for students who need more accommodation than the typical school system can offer. Parochial schools, you know what those are. Religious schools, Reggio Emilia School, a Waldorf School. You have, and that's that. And this was from Rumson University, okay? And so what I'm saying is, when you had the charter school, the Montessori school, the magnet schools, you know, when you had those schools like that, what I'm saying is all of those things that they offer can be inside of the public school. Okay, we can offer those things, but what has happened with the development of those schools, we have moved away from the public schools, and less focus is being put on the public schools, and it's almost making it like the public school is like a secondary school here, like, and they're not getting no attention, and they're getting left behind, and then everyone is complaining why the public school is low performing, because people are leaving them behind. No one is paying them attention. We can't let these folks. What makes it different? Because, and I'm not, hey, to each his own. Don't get me wrong. If you want your child to go to a charter or this, that, and the third, I tried my daughter at a Montessori school, okay, and because I had liked that idea, and when I walked into the classrooms, it was reminiscent of how the classrooms looked for a third grader back when I was in school in the third grade. It was just, and the approach, and it was like, when I stepped back, I'm like, but this is what it's supposed to be in the public schools. Why are we not doing this in a traditional public school? Because Montessori is still a public school as well, okay, charter as well. But I'm saying, and magnet school as well. But what I'm saying is, the traditional public schools, why are we vacating those and putting all of this over here in these schools? Those things can all be in a public school, the traditional public school. We're vacating the traditional public school for something that, because someone says, oh, and then, what else is funny? Not everybody probably even known that these charter and magnet schools were focusing on lower income neighborhoods. That's how they would get their funds. That's how they're able to get established. But as I said early on, not all of them are, not everyone in that community in this quote low income neighborhood is able to get the funds. And then the thing is that you have to step back and think about and things and say, now this neighborhood, and if it is a charter or magnet school that's doing very well in this low income neighborhood they claiming, then we have to ask ourselves, okay, well, this neighborhood been low income for 30 years. You've been here for 20 of them. Why isn't anything changed around here? You know what I'm saying? Why isn't anything changing around here? So it's deeper than just that. It's just deeper than the education level. We had to go out then and start thinking, okay, this is beyond some education. This is a city issue then. Like, why isn't the city focusing? Why isn't the board members or whatever not putting more focus on this side of the city then? Why isn't the interest here? If we have a school that's thriving here, why are we not building up around this school then? Why are we not showing these children something better? If they're growing in the classroom, why are we not showing this neighborhood growing? You know what I'm saying? Let's make sense. Let's make it make sense. Okay? If the students are growing in this classroom and growing in this school and excelling in this school here, why isn't the community around it growing then? Because these kids are growing and they're becoming bright. So what does that mean? That means that they're still in this community. They can come back to their own community and build it up, right? Why isn't that happening? So we have to start thinking about these things. See, these people come in and they latch in on our communities that they claim that are struggling and everything. And they get this funding, but what are they really doing for the community? See, anybody can write something and say what it is, or say, oh, this is a low-income neighborhood. Why is it a low-income neighborhood, though? Why are you calling it a low-income neighborhood? What are you deeming as being low-income? Because it's not gentrified yet? Because not a major corporation moved in there yet? So you calling it a low-income neighborhood? Well, people are working class in that neighborhood there. They're working class folks there. They might just not have, the people on the east side may not have what the people on the north side have, but they may still work at the same place too. Think about it. Some folks stay where they comfortable. Think about it. Okay? All right? So, we have to think about these things. When these people insert themselves in our communities, we have to think about something here. You got a lot of these groups, organizations that are saying that they're doing things in the name of our children, but not all of our children are benefiting from it. Okay? And when we talk about, sometimes we have some of these public schools that are, they're throwing and slinging the STEM around. Okay? Science, technology, engineering, and math. Well, what about history? You need to put an H on the end of that too, because we need to be teaching history, and I'm talking about the history of this land that these children are walking on, the soil that these children are walking on. We need to teach that too. You can't just want to throw history out. We need to teach the history, because if you're going to teach science, I'm pretty sure you're going to teach the history of science. You're going to teach the history of engineering. You're going to teach the history of math. You're going to teach the history of technology. You're going to teach how the evolution of that's the history. You're going to teach the evolution of it. When you talk about those craters and those rocks, you're talking about the history of this of science. Okay? So if we're going to talk about the history of those said subjects, how are we not going to actually talk about history? We trying to X that out. We have to talk about history here. You ask the average little kid about who is Nat Turner, they not going to know. But so we leave it till, they can go on the internet and look that up. But we want to teach them what we want to teach them over here. But we ain't going to teach them that. Nah, we need to teach them history. They need to know that too. They need to know the soil that they walking on. They need to know what they need to know the history of this country and how it came about. And not just the quote unquote the forefathers. We want to talk about how every single thing went down in this country, how it was founded, who was here, who wasn't here. We can't keep talking about the man who bumped into the land, who bumped into the land, who founded something that wasn't lost. You can't find nothing that wasn't lost. You can't. That's why they took Christopher Columbus. He ain't a day. When I was coming up, they kept pushing him as the man who founded this land. But how you find something when he got on the land, it was somebody already here. The Native Americans was here. You cannot find until they ran the Native Americans, the Trail of Tears. They ran them up out of here. Bloodshed. They stole the land from them and put their flag in it. You can't not talk about everything else. If we're gonna educate. So if we're gonna educate the history on those said subjects, science, technology, engineering, and math, you're gonna give the history on that. Then why we leaving history out of that whole equation there? Okay? How we leaving that out? And so that's something that needs to be talked about in these schools. When they talk STEM, you need to keep an H on the end of that. Okay? And we need to talk history. We gotta keep it real. We gotta stop trying to run and hide from everything. And tell the true story, because one way or another is going to be learned. But if we talking about learning and teaching, and I say that these states, we have to meet these children where they stand. We cannot keep playing and saying that we want to teach the children. It's all about education. We got enough people doing that. We got enough people creating schools in the name of children, in the name of this one group, but this one group is not benefiting from that, because then when you think about it, you're getting money in the name of a said group. You're saying low income, but then if you just built that school for that low income neighborhood, then what do you have then? Then it's being discriminative, okay? You can't discriminate. But that's where they're going, and they open and they're getting these schools, and then they're saying, oh, we want to help. So if all these damn people are helping low income folks, if all of these groups and these schools are helping low income folks, then why is the communities still low income? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. That's what I'm saying, and this is why I wanted to do this show today, to make come to the point and say, stop the bullshit, man. Everybody keep coming with these groups, the innovation project. What? It shouldn't be a project when you're trying to innovate somebody. When you're being innovative, when we talking about education, it shouldn't be a project. What it should be is a mission to go to the legislation in the state of North Carolina and say, hey, for all of you principals, superintendents that's on the innovation project, that's a part of that, all of you need to go to the state legislator and push for better academics, better meeting where these children stand, bringing something better to the education system, instead of creating a group or organization that I don't even know what your real mission is. I hear you talking about something, but I don't hear what you talking about. Because you ain't one time where nothing you said was the children involved. You talking about what you want to be redesigned and see, when you say you trying to change something, but what is it that you trying to change? Okay, the innovation project, what is it that you're trying to change? The Broad Academy, they groom people like the innovation project, is what I'm telling y'all. They groom folks like that. They groom those people. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them come from the Broad Center, aka the Broad Academy. I wouldn't be surprised if they came up through that. Because that whole, when you read the Broad Center, try to get understanding of what that's about. It's supposed to have been about education, for the education system. They train superintendents and principals for a whole new way of thinking, for redeveloping and rethinking and all of the same thing that the innovation project is talking about. It's the same thing. Now they have created their own group at the innovation project. They come together. That's what it's like. Okay? I'm not saying I don't know those superintendents. I'm not saying that they are part of the Broad Academy. But what I'm saying is, when you look at the two, once again, I want you to take your time out. The Broad Center. Look up the Broad Center. And it'll say School of Yale School of Management. Okay? I want you to look up the Innovative Project. And I want you to compare them side by side what they're talking about. And you tell me, leave it in the comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me if I'm wrong. Okay? This ain't that I don't do theory. I don't do none of that. I come straight at you, and I let you know straight what it is. And that's all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. We can't keep leaving these public schools. The traditional public schools has been left behind for so long, and coming with all of this new rethinking. But we've been having magnet schools and charter schools around now for at least 20-some years, sitting in the same communities. How we gonna keep saying we doing it for the low income, less fortunate? Those communities should be built up right now if y'all doing such a great job. If those type of schools doing such a great job, what you gonna do that's so different that a public school been sitting in that same community as long as that community been there? That public school was built, and when that community was founded, when that public school was founded. The public school was founded when the community was founded. So how are you? If this one said school gonna be this type of school gonna be different from this traditional school that been sitting in the hood? You just up the block and around the corner from where this school at that been sitting there for 50 years. Make it make sense. Like I said, to each his own. I'm not knocking a magnet school, charter school, Montessori school. Like I said, my daughter went to the Montessori school. I was trying to get understanding, and then when we went, I liked the idea, but I also was like, I wanted this. I wanted to see that in the public school. I was trying to understand too, like why this is not in a public school. What is so different than you in a traditional public school? Because it's still a public. Montessori is a public school. The ideas and everything is just different. Their approach to education is different. Just like the magnet school and the charter schools and the KIPP schools. So I'm trying to figure. I'm like, what is different? Why this can't be put in the public school? The traditional public. I keep saying, but why can't this be put in the traditional public school? I'm missing something here. It's not like they're doing something so totally far out of the way. Why can't that be presented over here? Then I figured, I said, because we're leaving behind our traditional public schools. We're turning the backs on our traditional public schools. And there's been this stigma put on our traditional public schools. We starting to see less. They're not focusing on security in our public schools. They want to turn it back on security in our public school systems. They're messing with the approach of the academics. They're not meeting the children where they stand at. But you can go to a charter school and they're meeting the children where they stand at. But you can't get that in a public school. So now they're putting this stigma on the public school. So then people pull their children out of the public school. And then now, what do you have? All of these other schools, and some of these schools could be founded by people with totally left ideas from what your total idea of life and everything may be. But you feed your children to the lions. You put your children right in the mouth of the lion. Do your research before you physically go in on some of these things, okay? And go in those directions, because you have to almost wonder, like, if this school is created for low income, and you figure, say you live on the west side, but this type of school over here, this charter or magnet school, is one of the best schools in the city. You live on the west side, this school is on the north side. Okay? And you figuring, like, so why are you able to go to that school? Everybody on the west side should be trying to tear that, everybody on the north side should be trying to get in that school. You know what I'm saying? Everybody on the north side is trying to get in that school. But why is it? When happens is you have a lot of people in that same community that they claim to be catering to, they can't get in. They're taking a certain amount of people from this said community that they sitting in. And they're grabbing everybody from everywhere else. So my thing is, yeah, it can be discriminatory, like when if you say, oh yeah, we for this community, but if you're going to a state and you're saying we want to help the low income and we're going to be on this side of town and this said city where it's low income and low performing, then it shouldn't be even considered that, because you went to the state's government and said that we're going to go in this community and we want to put it there and we want to help this community, but you're not helping that community. Okay? So that's all I'm saying, folks. We have to take a deep dive and look into things. And when we step back and look at our public school system, you'll get an understanding and look at, like I said, the Broadcenter, their website. Look at the Innovation Project, their website. And I want you to compare the two. And whenever you get a chance, grab this book too, Why Metal Died. And then step back at, if your child is in the public education system, or you're just someone interested in the public education system today. You've been out of school and you just interested in you just trying to get an understanding yourself. Take a step back, and then when you ain't even gotta read it. You can read this and don't look at that. You can look at that and don't read this. But if you look at those websites I'm telling you about and then read this, you're gonna be like, wow. you're going to be like, wow, it's right there in front of our face. And then it's so broad, like with these organizations right here, the Innovation Project, the Broadcenter, it's so like in your face, right? It's like, man, when you read it, they're not saying nothing. It's like, you're not saying nothing. But I just want y'all to read it and leave in the comments. What am I saying things? Am I just making up stuff? Because they're not saying nothing. So that's all, ladies and gentlemen. I try sometimes to really chop this stuff down and make it shorter videos, but I can't. It's just when you having adult conversations aren't short. You know, adult conversations aren't 1-2. Like we not doing punchline jokes. We not, you know, five seconds and out. You know, when you're not talking about nothing, you can do that. When we talking about something serious here, I can't. As many times as I try to figure it out and try to chop, and I just can't, because it's certain things that we have adult conversation here. So I have to, you know, when I touch on these subjects and topics, I don't want to shortchange you guys, because so often we got media and things that they just giving you half of stories. You know, everybody wants to just give the quick way out, the quick solution to a real big problem. You know, and that's not it. We have to get our minds working. I have to paint the picture for you and let you really see sometimes. And once again, like I said, what I was making a correlation here is nothing to take shots and throwing shots at charter schools, Montessori schools, magnet schools. I'm just making a correlation here and trying to bring understanding as to the things that I'm not seeing much of what they're offering that should not be in the traditional public school. I'm not seeing what they're offering. And another thing is, this traditional public school has been, this is free as well. They're there. If this school doesn't perform right, guess what? They got 3 to 5 years to get it right. If they don't get it right, then guess what? They're going to be out of there. The state's going to cancel them and shut their doors. Okay? They're under the watchful eye of the state within those years. Okay? And then still, they're under the watchful. See the difference from a traditional public school? Yeah, they low performing. The state just not closing their doors. Okay? And they're not going to close. But they're going to close their doors. You know? But a traditional public school, they're not going to just close their doors. Okay? They're going to try everything they can to try to make it, to get it right, or the state just might take it over themselves, okay? But when the state is funding, the state got they say so. But at the same time, when I speak about the Innovation Project and how they're talking about whatever they want to redevelop, rethink, and reimagine and all of this with the schools, my thing is, well, why don't you take those ideas, whatever the ideas you have, because it's not really clear on your website, take those ideas to the legislator. Let's stop playing games. Go straight to where you need to go to make some change. If you're really trying to make the change and all you superintendents came together as a collective and y'all don't form Voltron, go ahead. But I don't know how far you're going to get with somebody that you got as a CEO that we know wasn't proven. The track record wasn't proven here in Guilford County. That's what led me to wanting to look you guys up, the Innovation Project, because I was just like, who are these folks, or who is responsible for this one right here, okay? And then why everybody supposedly all the other superintendents are acting superintendents? Why is the person that they had as a CEO? Why is she leaving her post with still 3 to 4 years left on her contract, newly renewed contract? Why is she quitting? You're not questioning that? As you questioned her track record when she left Syracuse, why did she quit? How did she do the same thing there? So you tell us, what is she bringing? So you telling us, there's only one thing she left those. She's leaving this job, and she left the one in Syracuse because she can't do her job. Okay, she ain't qualified. And maybe nonprofit is what she should have jumped into before jumping into superintendent and creating more problems for two different states. But that's my time, ladies and gentlemen. Space Invaders TV. I'm your host, Rashawn, aka Looker. Please make sure you share, subscribe, like, leave your comments. As I always say, this adult conversation here. We talk about many different things, national, local, global topics. Don't talk entertainment news here unless the entertainer or entertainers are doing something outside of entertaining. We don't touch on that. I like to talk about the things that affect our communities, our cities and states. Sometimes, a lot of times, it's things that I can't touch. I ain't gonna say I can't touch, but I see it, but then it's other things that pop up. So I have to, pick what I'm gonna talk about, for that upcoming week, because I put out projects once, sometimes twice a week. If it's 3 times out of the week, there's something really hot going on. So, but most of the times it's my aim is once a week to put a project out, to put a story out once a week. Sometimes as of lately, I've been throwing out 2. You might get one from me on a Thursday and then on a Friday, or you might get one from me like a week or 2 ago. I was doing 2 on Thursday. But like I said, it just depends on what's going on. I know sometimes I could be winded with it, but like I said, when we're adults and we have an adult conversation and you're trying to get knowledge out to the people and understanding to the people, it's not going to be short. And I just don't. I felt the need when it was put on my heart to speak to the people in the midst of a pandemic. Back when the pandemic first started, I came back on my channel, which my channel has been here since 2010. I had this channel working since 2010, but I stepped away from it for a while and doing other things. But back in 2020, I was compelled to pick up and start talking to the people again, and just trying to give another form of direction, because I know a lot of folks' brains were cloudy during the pandemic. And just going through all of that and just being, so I wanted to redirect the minds and just try to talk to the people and talk about other things and get just the pandemic off of folks' mind and talk about what other things that's going on and enlightening and motivating the folks. So, that's what it's been about. And I back in 2020 is when I kicked off and started again. So, I try to think of all types of ways of like, man, how can I shorten these conversations, these topics, and I can't, So whoever it reaches, whoever stops and locks in and listen to it, whether you at work and you put your headphones in and you just listening to me, I appreciate you and I thank you. And I ask that you continue to spread the knowledge around. It's all about each one teach one. I understand how we all can go throughout our days. We have families or not. You just busy, period. And a lot of things may get over your head. Some things you may not pay attention to. Some things I may be talking, I know when I'm talking about the education system, I get it, I understand. Some teachers and educators, period, and ones in the education system can't speak on certain things. But, so I feel like I'm speaking for you guys. I'm speaking for you guys in a sense, as a citizen and as a parent of a child in the education system and what I'm seeing. I'm not here about to disrespect anybody, like calling people out of their names and yelling into the screen and all of those things. That's not what this is about. We're adults having an adult conversation. We can agree to disagree, and for that, I say, leave your comments. If it's something I say, check me. Don't be ashamed to check me. I'm not going yell down your throat. Just be respectful about it the same way I'm respectful in my approach to you guys. Be respectful about it. You know, I don't care. Leave your comment about how you feel. If I say, hey, Rashawn, hey, whatever, hey, I didn't like how you know, that's not right what you said there. This is why, blah, blah, blah. Okay? That's all respectable. I mean, this is what this is about here, you know? So, yeah, leave your comments. Check me. If I said something wrong, if I was off on a date, a name, anything, the subject was off, like I was just off, check me. But I try always to have my notes. You can fact check me. I give you places where I get my info from, and part of I get my info, and then the other is just my common knowledge, common sense, mixed with it all. So yeah, that's what this channel is about, and it's a channel I say for us. I'm talking to you guys, but in the comments we can talk together. We can have a conversation about what you felt, But I'm just bringing my point of view, and not even my point of view. Sometimes I'm just bringing you the topic, and a lot of times I just throw it up as an alley oop, and then goes from there, So that's my time, folks. I thank you. I asked and I appreciate each and every last one of you that watch the channel and subscribe and all my subscription. I don't have a gang of subscribers. All of the subscribers I have is organic. I don't pay for subscription. I want it all to be organic. I want my page, I keep saying page, I do that all the time. I want my channel to be organic. The people, citizens, I want you guys to, I want my followers to be organic. I know that these are real people. I know that you are real people on the other side. That I didn't pay for your views, So I thank y'all, and keep spreading the page around, and keep watching. And that's my time, folks. Again, this is Space Invaders TV. Rashawn, and I'm out.